Hey, in this video, I'm going to teach you how to figure out how much your business is worth and how to actually dramatically increase the value of what it's worth and how to make it more attractive for someone who might potentially want to buy it. Now, I know if you're working hard out in your business, probably selling it and how much it's worth might not be the thing that you're thinking about right now. Maybe you're just busy trying to keep things moving forward, but you should think about this because I'm going to be honest. Your business is probably the most valuable asset that you will ever have and that you'll ever build and can give you great cash flow if you do this right. And that's the key thing. You've got to do it right. So we're going to jump into that today. Now, I've got a free calculator. It's called What's My Business Worth? Real simple. And it's going to give you a really good estimate of what your business is currently worth. So if you'd like a copy, just comment in the comments, just say I want a copy, or shout out, let us know. Or if you're watching this later, click the download link and we will boost it straight out to you. Now, just a quick disclaimer, I'm not a registered business valuer. I know how this stuff works, but if you want to get a ridgy-dig valuation, maybe you talk to a registered valuer to get something that's a little more legal and stuff if you like as well. But this is going to be super helpful. It'll give you pretty much what you need to get a good estimate. So, what's my business worth? Well, there are a few frustrations if you don't do this right. And the first one is really simple. If you're not focusing on building the long-term value of your business, often what happens is you get stuck on focusing on short-term problems. And what I mean by that is you get stuck thinking about getting just the jobs done you're working on right now. Maybe the jobs for this week or next week, the next month, maybe the next few weeks. Or the projects that you're working on. So life becomes more about just getting projects done and keeping your business running than actually thinking about how can I create value out of my business and set it up for something that I could potentially sell. So that's an issue. I reckon there's a massive amount of missed opportunities. Now, you're going to work hard in your business. I know you do. If you're watching this, you're already a person who's committed to actually improving what you're doing, which makes you different from a lot of people who own a business for a start. But the thing is, you're going to miss the opportunity to turn a lot of that hard work that you've put into your business over the years, turning it into a good payout at the end. And you should 100% get that payout. But you're not going to get it or get as much as you should if you don't really focus on building the value in your business. Last thing is, I call it lifestyle poverty. Now, lifestyle poverty is really simple. Lifestyle poverty is where you just don't have enough money, which means you can't buy time back in your business. It's difficult to hire people. You can't put the right systems in place, and business is really hard to run, and it spills over into your life. So you don't have time to do the things you want. You're always tired and burnt out. Maybe your family suffers. Your kids, your relationships with your spouse or your significant other just doesn't get the energy and the effort that you want, and it's just not fun. So that's a real issue, and that can really happen if you're not focusing on the end game. Now, if you do get this right and you are really focusing on building the value of the sale value of your business, you tend to think much more long term, and so rather than just thinking about the projects that you need to work on each week and the jobs you've got in front of you and maybe the hassles you're having with your team right now or suppliers or whatever it is, you think about the long term picture, and you make a switch. And this is really important. I want you to think about this. Is you make a switch between being a person who just gets jobs done, or just gets jobs done for other people, for clients, projects, whatever they are. Your main job actually becomes, how do I build my business? So rather than a builder of projects, you become a builder of business, your own business, which is a big difference. You're going to capture the value. So this is huge. You're going to actually get some payback for all the effort you've put in over the years, and you'll get a nice paycheck, which can set you up for the future, for retirement. Maybe for a next business venture, maybe it sets you up for a bunch of investing that you want to do as well. And you can start to generate some income from that, which isn't relying on you having to work all the time. And lastly, it can help you with lifestyle freedom. So you get a good payout, and that buys you time. And it gives you opportunities and freedom to choose what you want to do and how you want to do it, with whom you want to do it as well, which is real fun. You actually have some time to spend the money that you've made as well. And I want to say one thing here when we're talking about selling business, and this is about what's my business worth and what could I potentially sell it for. Well, here's the really interesting thing. If you create a business that's something that's really valuable that someone would want to buy and it's well set up, the great thing is that sort of business often is a great business to own as well, because it'll have the right people in place, the right team, processes, systems, clients. And so odds on, if it's a good business to sell that someone wants to buy, you'll probably be able to keep it and it'll be way more fun as well, which is like an amazing double-edged sword. So that's just something to think about. There are a few key principles though that we need to get right to figure out how much our business is worth. And I want to just blast through 3 of those, and then we'll go into the calculator. Now, I do have a calculator, as I said. It's called What's My Business Worth? It's going to give you a great estimate of what your business is currently worth. If you want a copy, just comment in the comments or click the download link, and we'll boost it straight out to you. It's a spreadsheet. I had some fun making it. Put a few formulas in there. Don't mess them up, please. But I think you'll find it super helpful. So let's look at the key principles around what I need to do to actually value my business. Well, the first key principle is people pay for profit. So it's really simple. If you're selling a business, people want to buy a business that has good profit, because that's how they're going to pay back their investment. They're going to give you money for the business, and over the next period, 5, 10 years, whatever it is, they want to get payback so they can pay back their investment and make some cream on top. Simple as that. So they pay for profit. Really simply put, a business that makes more money is more valuable. All things being equal, is going to be worth more to sell. And let's be clear on what profit is though, because this can be a little bit of a tricky thing, right? So profit simply is, you charge your work out, and you're going to need to charge it out for more than it costs you to supply the labour and the materials and all the overheads to run your business. There's got to be some profit over and above. And here's another really important point, and just want to emphasise this really importantly. People will pay for super profits. And what I mean by that is, let's say, you've been to your accountant and you come out and you're like, yeah, I made $200,000 profit this year, but you didn't have any salary for yourself. Well, that's not $200,000 profit. If all the money you got from the business was $200,000, really, if you paid yourself a fair market salary, let's say that was $100,000, for example, you'd be left with $100,000 of net profit, and that's really what your profit is. And if someone else is thinking of buying your business, they're going to need to replace your salary. They're going to need to account for a fair market salary for the working owner, and that comes off your profit. So super profits are over and above what you pay yourself a reasonable amount. And the other thing is, if you're working 80 hours a week in your business, effectively you're getting 2 salaries for the price of one. So the new buyer would want to think, well, geez, I don't want to work 80 hours, or I'm actually going to have to hire 2 people to do that job, so the profit might be even less. That's just a small point. So people pay for profit, and we want the profit to be higher. Now, here's the thing. When assessing business value, figuring out what it's worth, we use this concept called future maintainable earnings. So don't freak out, FMB, it's not a big deal. Basically means is, what do we think the earnings, the profitability is going to be of this business in the future? And here's the thing. What's the easiest way to figure out what that might be? Often it's to figure out, well, what it's been in the past. So here's a really good rule of thumb. Take the last 3 years of your profit figure and create a reasonable average, and let's call that your future maintainable earnings. Now, you may have some upside in the future, and you might be able to include that in your future maintainable earnings, but a savvy buyer is going to look at it and say, well, I want to see the track record of what this business has made. So let's just take the last 3 years as our future maintainable earnings. That's what we're going to use to figure out the worth of the business, and the higher that is, obviously the better, the more that your business is actually going to be worth. And here's what you want to do as a business owner. You want to really focus on building the business and increasing that profitability, rather than just focus on getting jobs done all the time, which means you've got to work on some different stuff. And we'll get into that in a minute. The next key principle, number 2, is you've got to understand the price to earnings ratio. So really that's a simple thing. Once you've got the future maintainable earnings of the business, you just multiply that by something called the price to earnings ratio to get the value. Really simple. So let's just say the future maintainable earnings of the business we decided was $300,000, so it's a solid business, and we decided that the price to earnings ratio was, let's say it's 2. And the price to earnings ratio for a plumbing or electrical or similar service business, painting, landscaping, tiling, glazing, all those type of businesses, hey, it could vary somewhere from 1 maybe up to 4, maybe even slightly higher sometimes, just depending on the type of business and how good a business it is. Let's say it was 2. So in this case, future maintainable earnings multiplied by the price to earnings ratio, in this case is it's 300 times 2 equals 600 grand. That's the value of your business. Power like that. Let's say we just tweak this up a bit, and instead of 2, price to earnings ratio is now 3, so value of that business has actually gone up. It's now $900,000. And that's how you use the price to earnings ratio. It's simply a multiplier on the profit to get the price. Super simple, right? Pretty easy. Here's the thing though. What changes the price to earnings ratio? Because it does vary a lot. And the key thing that it varies for is risk. So it's about risk. And that's the third principle that we need to get our head around. The third principle is risk. We've got to account for risk. So the more risky the business, the less solid and stable it is, the less likely that the future maintainable earnings will be where they are. Obviously, the less valuable it is, the lower the price to earnings ratio. The more solid it is, the less risk in buying it, the higher the price to earnings ratio, the more it's worth. Super, super simple, right? So let's focus on a couple of big risks. There's a couple of big risks. One risk is the structure of the business. Now, if your business is really well structured, it's got a lot of good systems and processes, it's got a great team, and you can get away from the business and it's going to keep running, well, it's going to have a higher price to earnings ratio because someone can just come in and it's pretty good to go. Maybe your business has a manager in place, a CEO or a GM, and it's kind of finished. Well, that's a very valuable business, higher price to earnings ratio. If it's just you and if it's you, maybe another man in a van, and that's it, it's very reliant on you. It's not really a business, it's just a job, or maybe a reasonable paid job. So someone's not really going to be prepared to pay that much for that kind of business. Make sense? Cool. The next risk is customer risk. So and let's use an example. If, for example, you have one key customer in your business, and most of the business revolves around that customer, maybe they make up, let's say, 80% of your business. If you lose that customer, you got big problems, right? Like, it's not good. So that business is not going to be as valuable as a business that has multiple clients. Maybe it's got 100 to 200 to 300 clients spread across some different markets. Because if one of those clients, goes under or doesn't use you anymore, hey, it's no big deal. You've actually got really good support base of clients, and the business looks way more solid. So, better client base, more stable client base, higher the price to earnings ratio, less risk. Less clients, more reliance on single clients, lower the price to earnings ratio. Another example might be, for instance, maybe you do have several clients. Maybe you work in new home construction, high volume group housing type work, punching out lots of residential housing, and you have 4 or 5 key builders, or maybe you've got 6 or 7 key builders. Seems like you've got a few clients, but if you think about it, it's in one niche, and if that niche or that niche goes soft, you've got a problem. So that may not be as valuable or as risk proof as a business that has a bunch of building contractors but also has some really solid service and maintenance work as well, and perhaps works with a few real estate or strata managers, maybe has some commercial and domestic installations and service work as well, which just provides a much better base. So you get the picture. The more risk, the less the business is worth. The less risk, the more it's worth, because it's a surer bet for the buyer. Alrighty, so I'm going to jump into the calculator right now. This is going to be super juicy. So if you want a copy of the calculator, please just comment or click the download link and we will boost it straight out to you. This is where we can have some fun, right? And plug in some numbers of yours. So if you look at the calculator, really simple. All we need to do is basically 3 things. We need to put in what the future maintainable earnings are. And so you're going to have to figure that out, as I said. Have a crack at it from your business. Past 3 years profit when you've taken out your salaries, whatever it is, you whack it in there. Let's just say, for argument's sake, it might be, let's say, 250,000. No problem. Okay, and then we've got a couple of questions around the risk, and these questions help determine what the price to earnings, the PE ratio is. So the first question is, how well structured is my business? And there's a little drop down to the side there. If you click on the cell, it'll open up, and it gives you like 4 options. The first one is, hey, my business is very simple. It's got no systems to speak of, and the business is entirely dependent on me as the owner. So really risky. Then we've got businesses, a few simple systems and a few employees, but it's dependent on me as the owner. So there's a little bit going on, but not a lot. Third option, hey, I've got comprehensive systems and processes. I've got a strong team. I could take 4 weeks off and business can operate without me. So that's pretty good. The last one is my business has a CEO, meaning that I'm not involved in the day-to-day operations, and business has a complete system, a set of systems and processes. It's like, this business is finished. It's like the McDonald's of service businesses. So let's just say we click it has a few simple systems, but it's mainly dependent on me. Okay. And then we talk about the customer risk. So again, just click that yellow box there, bring up a drop down. You've got 3 options. My business has lots of customers spread across different types of work. So it's got a good spread of customers. The middle option is I've got a small number of customers. And the third option is my business only has 1 or 2 customers. And if we lost those people, we'd be in a world of hurt. So let's just say we choose the middle one. It's got a small number of customers. Now, based on that calculation, with the logic in the back, $250,000 future maintainable earnings, this business, it's a pretty simple business, doesn't have many systems and processes, and it's got a small number of clients. We reckon it's worth around $375,000. So the multiplier is like 1.5, something like that. No problem. Let's have some fun. Let's say you work really hard on your business and you're going to make some changes. You don't do anything to the profit, but you work on actually building some structure into the business. And so instead of it being, and you can play with this as well, I really suggest you do. Instead of it being a few simple systems, we've got some really comprehensive systems and we can take 4 weeks off. Okay, great. And then we change the client base, so we work really hard on getting a whole bunch of new clients, some good marketing. Wow, business has changed a lot. Now instead of being worth 375, it's worth 750,000, and this literally can happen. Your business can be worth way more if it's a well-structured business. It's amazing, and that's what I want to encourage you to do. Part of your work in your business, not just to do the projects, but actually focus on building the systems and the processes and the team out in your business, getting some good market, a variation in your market and good systems for selling and marketing as well. Here's the even better thing. Let's say we work really hard and we can get the profitability up to $350,000. Now the business is worth over $1 million, which is happy days, right? Be super juicy to have that in your pocket. So, it's good fun. What I want you to do is download this, just tell us in the comments or click the download button on the page. Have a play with this. See where you're at now with your business and where you think the value could be in maybe 3 years' time. And then think about, well, what do I need to do to actually make those changes? What changes do I need to make? What do I need to learn? What systems and processes do I need to put in place to actually get me to where I want to go, which will be great fun. Key thing here, team, is I want you to be really clear on what's your role in the business. If you want to release the value in the business, you want to get paid for all that hard work and effort that you've put in over the years, maybe you're going to have to shift focus a little bit to focus on building the valuation, building the business so it's worth more to a potential buyer. It's worth it. I really encourage you to do this and understand that there's some factors you can tweak which will make a huge difference to the output that you get. And the cool thing here is, hey, if you've set it up to run for sale, it might be brilliant to keep. If you've got a general manager running it, why wouldn't you just keep banking the cash? You'll be able to sell it at any time, but you're getting the cash flow all the time as well. Alrighty, grab the calculator. I think you'll find this super helpful. Have a play with it. It'll be fun. I hope you found this helpful and we had a lot of fun doing it. Always fun to think about the long term. Hey, I hope you liked the video. Check out all the other videos in the channel and like and subscribe.